So how bright is a 10-watt LED? At the risk of sounding like Ben Stowe, it depends. Speaking of Ben Stowe, he's a really smart guy, and he knows a lot about technology. A lot more than I'll ever hope to know, or even want to know for that matter. I'm just a dumb DJ who's trying to make sense of it all, and today I wanted to try to shed some light on this, because it's a good question. How bright is a 10-watt LED? I did a video yesterday where I demonstrated a 90-watt moving head, and some people said, wow, that's really bright. I've seen moving heads that are 150 watts that aren't that bright. How could that be possible? Look, as consumers, I think we want to pretend to know stuff sometimes that we don't know anything about. And I'll give you a really good example of that. When we're buying powered speakers, for instance, they may say, well, hey, this is a 1,000-watt speaker. And we say, ooh, that's pretty impressive. I want that speaker. Without getting into how they fudge those numbers on speakers, I'll say this. We don't care how many watts a powered speaker is. We shouldn't care. The reason we gravitate towards that number is because they can inflate that number, make that a big number through all kinds of fun trickery sometimes. And to us, it sounds impressive. We have no idea what it really means. So we just pretend we know what it means, and we gravitate towards the 1,000-watt speaker, or the 1,500-watt speaker, or the 2,000-watt speaker, or the 2,500-watt speaker, or whatever the case might be. Truth be told, watts is power consumption, not power output. It's about efficiency. So, what we really care about is something called SPL, or sound pressure level, when it comes to speakers. How loud is it? How efficiently is it using the power it gets? It could be getting 10 watts. We don't care. Just so it produces good sound pressure level. And to give you an idea of what sound pressure level is, those really cool ETX speakers from Ultra Voice, those weapons grade ones, I think they're like 134 or 135 SPL. It's pretty loud. Whereas the Maui 5 Go's are around 120 SPL. And then I've got some American Audio speakers that are really nice, and they're closer to 100 to 110 SPL. Sound pressure level matters. Watts doesn't. Watts is power consumption, not power output. Just keep that in your head when I'm giving you this explanation on LEDs. Back to the 10-watt LED, or the 90-watt LED, or whatever. We're not getting really good specs on LEDs right now. And there's a reason for it. Do you remember incandescent light bulbs? Just the regular old screw-in light bulbs from the old-timey days? And when I say old-timey days, I'm talking about 10, 15 years ago. That technology had been around for over 100 years. And we kind of knew what a 25-watt incandescent light bulb was and how much light it produced, and a 40-watt, and a 60, 75, 100. If I was going to light up my living room, I like to use 40-watt incandescent light bulbs with shades on them. It produced a nice soft ambient light for my living room. It wasn't task lighting where it was super bright, but it was nice, calm lighting. However, if I was in my workshop, I might want to use 100-watt light bulbs because I want something super bright for doing tasks. We kind of knew how bright a 100-watt bulb was and a 40-watt bulb because they'd always been that bright. But truth be told, the watts never had anything to do with how bright something was. That's measured in lumens. And that's a spec that we're not getting yet. Now, just to give you an idea of how efficient an old incandescent bulb is, according to what I read, it uses roughly 2.2% of the energy it receives to produce light. And the rest of the 97.8% of the power it gets goes to heat. And if you're an old school DJ and used to use the old Par 46 light cans like I did, you know you had to let those things cool up before you could touch them. You know that uplighting with Pars on the ground was not practical because it got so hot, kids could touch it and get burnt. Somebody could brush past it with their legging, get a blister. It might even cause fire up against a curtain. But LED is different because it's incredibly efficient. It can take a lot less power and produce more light. How much light? depends on the technology of the LED. The incandescent bulb technology was the same, like I said, for over 100 years, but the LED technology keeps changing. The efficiency keeps changing on the LED technology. So a 10 watt LED 15 years ago probably isn't nearly as bright as a 10 watt LED with today's technology, because the watts, the power consumption, is being used more efficiently. And the designs change and all this stuff. Very different from incandescent. But as DJs, we're hearing things like, ooh, 90 watt, that's bright. Yeah, probably. We kind of know what some of our fixtures are as far as how many watts they consume and how bright they are, but that is not a measurement of brightness. It's a measurement of power consumption. But lumens is really the spec we're looking for. So hopefully in the future, we're going to start seeing lighting companies tell us how many lumens the bulb is. Maybe they can tell us the watts, and then they can tell us the lumens. Maybe that would satisfy a lot of people who really think they know how bright something is according to how many watts it consumes. But anyway, that's just a quick video for you, and I hope it made sense. It's a very layman explanation on this stuff. I hope I did okay. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Let me know in the comment section if you understand this concept better than you did before you turned the video on. Or if I just confused you more, because that's very possible too. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for that. Practice and enjoy.